Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm John from Advantage Subliminal. Today I'd like to talk about a subject that's very close to my heart, bullying. It affects so many people in so many different ways, and its effects can be lifelong unless we deal with them. Now, it started for me many years ago as a young boy, very rambunctious, like playing games, cowboys and Indians, things like that little boys do. But one day I had a fight with the boy who lived across the road and I came off worst. And that just put me off fighting completely. I didn't like to come off second best, didn't like it at all. Consequently, I tended to try and avoid trouble, to skirt round it. And of course people take that as a sign of weakness and they exploit it. So what happened at school, I started to get bullied. And it was like coming out once the school finished and checking to make sure there was nobody hanging around, because boys sometimes like to just wait and pounce as you walk out the door. Sometimes it was a sprint along the grass trying to get home. So a very, very difficult situation, and one that has lasted a long time in my life. Not necessarily getting bullied, I don't mean that. I mean the effects of that time lasted with me a long time. Because even in my working life, if I felt threatened or I felt that things weren't going well, or there was a possibility of something happening that I didn't like, I would just cut and run, rather than have the courage to face up to it and sort it out. And very often, if not all the time, these fears that I had were just shadows in my mind that I had created from my lack of self-esteem, for want of a better word. So, but going back to my school days, I was probably about 15. I was in a classroom on the first floor of the school, and in the class was one of the school bullies. He was a big lad, and somebody had thrown something out the window, and he had said, "Gibson, go and get that." And I said, "I'm not going." I decided enough was enough. "Go and get it," he said. I said, "No." So he came over, grabbed a hold of me, twisted my arm up my back. I thought it might break, and I thought if it does break, I'm still not going, and I just refused, no matter what he did. So he gave up and left me alone. I never had any problem with him after that. But the effects of the bullying, the lack of self-confidence, is still there, still lurks. And in my working life, in my early working life, I decided to take up a martial art, so I trained in karate for quite a while, for a long time in fact, but I did start coaching for about 30 years, teaching adults and children. And what used to happen is parents would come up and say, "Oh, my child's getting bullied at school, will karate help him?" And I would explain to them that you can't change what the person's like inside. What you can do is teach them skills, hopefully build their self-confidence, but essentially if they're a gentle person, they will still be a gentle person. They will just know better how to take care of themselves if they decide to do so. And that is true. I mean, I say that from personal experience, because although I've been a martial artist for a long time, I haven't recently because I'm retired now, but it never made me feel that I wanted to go out and picking people or bully people or whatever. I just like to keep myself to myself. But on that note, I decided, I don't know, quite some time ago, that I would like to try out the differences that karate made in my life. So I became a doorman, steward, bowser, whatever you want to call it, at a nightclub in Edinburgh. And I've done that for a couple of years, and I moved from being the normal doorman up to being the boss of the doorman. And all that time, I never had to hit anybody. I had to break fights up, I threw people out, but I never had any problem with people directly. I just did the job and that was it. Because something had changed inside me, my self-confidence had improved. The way I walked, the way I spoke, I think had an effect on the people around me, so consequently, I wasn't bothered by anybody. Now, the truth of the matter is, whether I could or couldn't really didn't make that much of a difference, providing you never have to prove it. As long as the other person believes it, then they leave you well alone. And that's an important point to keep in mind. If you can create that feeling of self-confidence inside yourself, then it will help you enormously. And I guess it's that old expression, fake it till you make it. But it does change things. Now, bullying. There are two distinct types of bullying. There's physical bullying and there's verbal and emotional bullying. Now, today is not about physical bullying. That's a different thing altogether. And if you are experiencing physical bullying or physical abuse in any level, then you have to do something about it. Seek outside help to guide you in the best way forward. And if at all possible, take up something like a martial art or a self-defense class or whatever with a qualified and suitable instructor. From the emotional and verbal viewpoint, as long as you're sure the person is not going to physically attack you, then the rest of it is just a mind game. They are verbally or emotionally abusing you because they feel they are stronger than you. Now, it's nothing to do with physical strength. This is to do with what they believe inside. Let me give you an example. You can take two people who are exactly the same size, the same build, similar in every way, but one of them you would look at and think, oh, that person is just a soft touch. And the other one, you would think you would never go near them just in case there was trouble, because they both give off an energy, but the energies are different, and bullies sense that energy, and they're never going to pick on someone. That was very, very unlikely, and it would be very unusual if they did, on someone who may get the better of them. They don't like it. They won't do it. And usually bullies have their sidekicks along with them as well to feed this power. And it is like an energy they have inside them that needs to be fed. They want to feed off your energy, your positiveness. So the trick is not to feed them at all. Silence is a very, very good tool in this situation, because as soon as you engage them in conversation, no matter what they're saying to you, you're giving them power. You're opening up that door so they can come in and steal, take, devour your positive energy, or whatever energy you have. So the important thing is not to engage, not to open up. If they're going to say something, let them say it, look at them, and then walk away. And never ever feed them. Don't open the door. Leave that dark energy with them. Think of it like a postman who comes to the door with a parcel, and that parcel is filled with negative energy, horrible things, personal things about you, personal things that you believe about yourself which aren't true, but nevertheless the thoughts there in your mind because people have convinced you of that. The postman gives you the parcel. You have to sign for it before you can receive it. So you sign for it and you take it, and it's yours then. You have accepted it. Now, if on the other hand you didn't accept the parcel, it's then returned to sender. All that negative energy, all these hateful, hurtful things go back to the sender, and it's theirs to deal with, not yours. You don't have to say a thing. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is don't accept it. Now, what we do is, in our own way, we empower bullies because we accept what they say. It's as if we believe they know us better than we know ourselves. They say things that hurt us, things that wound us, things that make us think lesser of ourselves. But the truth of the matter is they're just doing it for fun. It's just like a cat playing with a mouse. Just pleasure for them. So don't play. Step back. Now, here's something to think about. Imagine, if you will, that your body is surrounded by an energy, because it is. But imagine that energy is a mirror energy, an outward reflecting mirror. And what happens is that when someone tries to verbally abuse you or send you negative energy or do anything that's going to hurt the real you, not physically, of course, this is just all mentally, then all that happens is that mirror energy just reflects it back to them. You're not accepting it. The mirror energy just reflects all this negativity back to the sender, where it stays. And any hurt that it would have done stays with them, not with you. You're a unique individual. You have power within yourself. You've just never realised that, or you haven't had the opportunity to consider it. But you are. And do not be afraid to love yourself, to let your light shine through. That dispels this negative energy as much as anything. Do not let people take advantage of your good nature, your uniqueness. Be strong within yourself, and the rest will take care of itself. Thank you for joining me.